Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I watched a brilliant Peter McKinnon video on YouTube recently, and it got me thinking, can social media be detrimental to creativity? I dove down the rabbit hole of comment sections and ended up knee deep in both mine and people that I engage with regularly, but also intentionally some people that I've never engaged with ever. And it's clear that there's a massive network of people out there that really appreciate, in a positive way, the subjectivity, individuality of a photographer having the freedom to post whatever they want. But there's also those that may be social media conformists, maybe even trolls, that seem to only ever be interested in Instagram-worthy images of perfection, and therefore sometimes being unconstructively and unnecessarily negative. So it asked me the question, has social media just become a killer of creativity as everyone seeks to present perfect? Or maybe, have we been led in this direction by our own subconscious draw to make comparison of ourselves with others? Or even, is it caused by how people seek to drive their own popularity and its perception through social media? I guess it could also be assumed that there's some people out there that either directly struggle or have low confidence in themselves or their own ability. And maybe that's even been caused or amplified by comments that they've received on social media platforms. Now, I can relate to all of that, to be honest. And I've definitely in the past, on occasions, fallen into a really dangerous trap. I've definitely gone out for the day with a camera and hardly even clicked the shutter because the perfect opportunity hasn't presented itself, or the specific target that I've gone there with a view to trying to photograph hasn't shown in a way that would warrant an image that I felt worthy of posting on social media. I've definitely worried about how many likes I'm getting, and irrationally worried about why my exposure or reach is not as high as it once was. I've also regularly compared myself to others. Now, these are all on me, no one else. It's my thoughts, my emotions, my insecurities, but I know from first-hand experience that there are lots of other people out there who are experiencing, have experienced, or will experience the same demons. Unfortunately, I've got a pretty strong character and I don't mind constructive criticism, but I've also been really fortunate that I've never really been on the receiving end of so-called trolling, because I'm also acutely aware that there's a lot of people that have. But recently I've started to take a different approach to my photography, and I hope that this video can perhaps inspire some others to do the same. Don't get me wrong, we all love the warm feeling of achievement and gratification that we often get when we have a post that goes viral or becomes our new most liked. But I've asked myself, is that really what photography has come to? I definitely started photography because of a real life experience, and I know that so many have done so for similar reasons. In fact, some of my friends have also turned into wildlife photographers, or particularly gone out in nature to help with their mental health. My own story in photography is I travelled to Africa for the first time back in 2018 with my wife on a genuinely life-changing safari. I'd never experienced anything like it before, but I didn't have the tools to satisfactorily capture what I was seeing. And I was so frustrated. So photography for me was the chance discovery, but outside of my family has definitely become one of my greatest loves. I'm a photographer who is driven by an innate passion for the natural world. And I've got a hugely artistic soul. I was rubbish at anything else. I was rubbish at science. But I now constantly strive to capture a moment in time, a memory, something that I can look back on and evoke an emotion. But I kind of fear that, unfortunately, when it's used in the wrong way, all that social media drives us to do is to try and capture perfect. Whether it's in our lives, what we do at home, at work, on holiday, what we eat, or in this case, what and how we choose to photograph. But not just that, also how we choose to present it to the wider social media world. And it made me think, how many killer shots have been left out there just because we've become so blinded by the struggle to capture perfect images, and more often than not just perfect images, but perfect images of the rarest possible subjects, because we know they get more likes on Instagram. I often find myself having conversations with people struggling with Instagram, whether it's reduced reach, the frustrations around coverage, whether their images aren't being seen by as many people. But I've been there, I've shared those frustrations, and the best way, in my opinion, to deal with them is to remind ourselves of why we found our love for photography in the first place. My genre happens to be wildlife, as you know, but photography of any genre far outdates social media. It predates digital imaging, and it predates colour prints. I've actually got a quote on my website by Australian photographer Dustin Sparks. "Photography is the story I fail to put into words." Don't think for 1 minute that this is me saying that Instagram or any other social media platform is bad, because that's absolutely not the case. I love Instagram, and if it's used well, it can be an amazing tool to meet like-minded people. I've become really good friends with people that I've met through social media that otherwise it's highly unlikely that I would have ever met in normal circumstances. That said, if social media is purely used for likes or popularity, it can definitely have a negative impact on people's mental health and hamper their creativity, because they're constantly trying to conform to a template that the algorithms typically favour. So my point is, let's focus on trying to enjoy mastering our craft by re-establishing why we first picked up a camera. And if that was purely to post on social media, then I probably can't help. And you're probably thinking I've just wasted 5 minutes of my time listening to him waffle on. But hopefully there will also be people out there that this resonates with. Go and rediscover your passion for the craft without thinking about posting on social media. Photograph the most common species, but do it in the most uncommon and creative way. Capture behaviours, experiment with light, capture environments. Prioritise backgrounds, play with slow shutter speed. Continue to push your creative boundaries. Just for a while, try and forget about the 5x4 crop and the tight portraits. Who cares about how many likes you get? If you love the process behind capturing the image, it's your work. It's about you, capturing what you want, how you want, and hopefully enjoying every minute of the process behind getting the image. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.